After exploring the surrounding areas of Mount Baker, the third highest peak in Washington state, our adventure continues as we take a detour to the other side of the Cascade Mountain Range, deep into central Washington to explore the secrets lying there. Well, to be more exact, secrets during the early 1940s.
I'm right now at Potholes State Park. So this is where I'll be setting up my camp tonight. And yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but across Washington there are so many state parks where we can explore. So yeah, this is one of them. Alright, so it appears that there's a trail right beside the campsite. I'm just gonna take a look and see what do we have here. And of course, the reason why this park is called the Potholes is because, well, the huge lake right beside the campsite, presumably that's the actual pothole. But yeah, this park is kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it also shows the typical central Washington scenery. But this place also is a good example of what the scenery in central Washington is like. Let's take a look to see what else can we find here. This trail, it's just like a dead end. So after walking about less than 10 meters, or in the United States, so maybe 40 feet, now the trail just reached a dead end. So, and of course, there's a little rapid, so just over there. I'm not sure if this trail actually leads to that rapid where people, you know, if they have like a kayak or canoe or something, and then maybe they can do whitewater rafting. I'm not sure, but looks like, yeah, there's like absolutely nothing here. Like predicted, but at least, hey, we've been here. We know that not every single attraction that appears on the tourist map, or at least, you know, the ones printed by the Washington state government, not every single site is worth checking out. Well, but since I'm staying here, I guess, well, I've got no choice but explore a little bit. Yeah, I guess in this case that I've done exploration for you, so next time when you come here, I guess don't make the same mistake. Alright folks, to tell you a sad truth, well, other than the mosquitoes just flying around here. So I went back to the camp and then spoke to some folks at the campsite. So they're saying that the trailhead, so it's not this gate here, but rather right here. So that means, well, since this is the right trailhead, so I probably give you the wrong information. I'm just gonna go take a look despite all the mosquitoes. But anyways, they say this is not a very long trail, so to make things right, I'm gonna go despite the fact it's kind of late right now. But this time we're gonna find out whether this place really has nothing or not. I can hear coyote or wolf, whatever, howling in the background, so I'm not sure. Oh my gosh. All mosquitoes, just crazy. But anyways, we better get going. Okay, let's go. The mosquitoes, oh my gosh, they're just everywhere. And based on what I see here, really it's all the same thing. What is this little guy? But anyways, yeah, it appears it's just the same view, and the mosquitoes is absolutely crazy. I guess, well, and they say it's a loop, so I can see, well, if you see here, do you see anything interesting? Well, I did not, so I guess instead of making a loop, I think it's better for me to go back now before I will be eaten alive by all the mosquitoes. But for now, let me, oh my gosh, let me quickly go back to my campsite, and maybe we're just gonna call it a day. Alright, so this morning the weather got a little bit better. It rained pretty much all night last night here in central Washington, which according to the landscape shouldn't be that often of an event. but whatever. I'm about to leave Potholes State Park, and we'll continue our middle of nowhere Central Washington discovery.
Okay, no wonder camping at this place was so easy to book even last minute, because there wasn't a lot of things to do. Just a short drive towards the south, I passed by the Columbia National Wildlife Refuge. While I didn't see any wildlife, the landscape there was probably how I imagined this part of Washington state should be like.
Wow, what a view!
Going further south, we have reached where I was planning to go, Hanford Reach National Monument. What are we going to see there? Well, the hint is in the name of the wildlife refuge where we just stopped by.
According to All Trails, so that's a very popular website used for trails around Washington state. On this very trail, the Bluffs North Trail, there's a very good possibility that you're going to encounter lots of bugs, coyotes, and maybe rattlesnakes. So I'm not sure if I'm able to spot any of those. Hopefully no, but who knows. And one thing I can tell you is now I'm actually very thankful about the rain from last night, because as you can see, the sky is covered with clouds, so it's an overcast today, and there will be no shades or no cover along the trail, and the temperature today isn't that bad either. As we're speaking, I have just climbed the very first hill, and it leads me to a high ground. Wow, what a beautiful scenery.
The river in front of my eyes was none other than the Columbia River, the 2,000 kilometers or 1,200 miles long major river of Pacific Northwest that originated in the Canadian Rockies, flowing into the Pacific Ocean. This section of the Columbia River is the only free-flowing section in the territories of the United States, and therefore is best reflective of what the Columbia would have looked like if it was untamed without all the constructions of hydro dams through most of the river's entire length.
Oh well, it started drizzling again, and who knew that in the middle of a seeming oh, there's so many, I'm not sure what they are. There's so many poops on the ground. Are those human poops or coyote poops, bear poops? I don't know, but anyways, yeah, so it's quite interesting that everywhere I go there's always some sort of bad weather. So, well, I guess they didn't call me bad weather Sayu Rinpoche for nothing.
In the distance, you'll find some odd-looking buildings on the other side of the Columbia River. What are these? Well, let me explain a bit later in this video, because it's rather a long and complicated story. All I can say now is that I wouldn't even be able to walk on this very trail if I came some 25 years ago, and definitely a big no-no in the 1940s. Again, like I said, I'll explain later. As we hiked further up the trail, the silhouette of Saddle Mountain appeared. The highest point of this mountain, well, more like a ridge, is marked by an antenna that you will be able to see from the White Bluffs North Trail. Standing at 2,634 feet, or 803 meters above sea level, Saddle Mountain didn't feel that tall because we're already on an interior plateau, the Columbia Plateau, which covers most of the regions where the Columbia River flows east of the Cascade Mountain Range.
Okay, so the sun just came out and the trail has become more sandy as we go. I think I probably see the sand dunes in the distance, but I'm not sure. I guess when we get closer, we'll find out.
Yep, what I saw were indeed what I thought they were. Sand dunes. This scene was the exact opposite of how most people imagined Pacific Northwest. Because the Cascade Mountain Range is so tall that it could block moist air from the ocean. A shadow zone is created behind the mountain range where you see little rainfall year-round and arid landscapes like what we're seeing right now. On the flip side, all the moist air is trapped on the other side of the Cascade Mountain Range. Therefore, places on the coast like Seattle and Vancouver are famously rainy. Yet, because when most people visit Washington and British Columbia, they visit the big cities on the coast. So reputations like, "Oh my gosh, Washington rains quite a lot," quickly spread out to the rest of the world. While this claim might be true in some parts of the state, in other parts of Washington, it is certainly fake news.
Wow, so this sand dune now makes me feel like I'm in a proper desert. And I just spoke to two other hikers that already made their way back. They're saying in the end there is also a second dune on this trail as well, and the view over there is way more spectacular, but I can tell you, this view is impressive enough. Okay, now we're heading to the second dune. Oh yeah, it's getting really hot, and I see that well, the good days are probably over. No more overcast, so just one more push, and yeah, well, and then I can be on my way back before it gets really hot in here. Alright, now I have reached the second dune area. Gosh, can you believe it? It's barely 11 o'clock and it's already getting super hot. My recommendation is, if the day is very clear and you check the forecast, it's very hot, then you gotta be really careful. Make sure you have your sun protection with you. But I tell you, the second dune area, the scenery is, wow, a lot better than the first dune. So I think making all the way to the second dune is absolutely worth it. Alright, now we have one last sand dune to climb. Let's go. Ooh, this is a steep one. We made it to the top.
To be honest, the views from the second dune was kind of identical to what we have already seen on our way to the top. Nonetheless, the climb to the second dune was a fun experience. That is, if the weather wasn't too hot.
Okay, now I'm gonna make my way down, and from the top of the second dune, and on the other side there's still a portion of this sand dune that's left untouched, but I'm not gonna go any further. And this pretty much concludes our adventure. But for now, before the clear sky makes everything way uglier, let's head back and take it easy for now.
Okay, now let's talk about the strange structures on the other side of the Columbia River. Like mentioned earlier, I wouldn't be allowed to even walk in the Hanford Reach area before year 2000. The reason, in short, is because of these structures we're looking at right now. Do you want to guess what they are? I'll give you 5 seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These structures, believe it or not, were nuclear reactors. Hanford Reach was once the location of Hanford Site, a secret facility founded in 1943 as a part of a special research and development project. And I bet you might have heard its name somewhere before, the Manhattan Project. Hanford Site was the place where the world's first full-scale plutonium production facility, also known as the B reactor, was built. The plutonium produced at Hanford Site was used on the very first nuclear bomb in history. The one detonated during the Trinity nuclear test, which took place on July 16, 1945 in New Mexico, as well as the plutonium used on the bomb known as the Fat Man that was dropped on Nagasaki, Japan on August 9, 1945. The site continued to function through the Cold War as the United States continued to build up its nuclear arsenal in competition with the Soviet Union. However, the nature of this work also led to radioactive contamination in the area, including this portion of the Columbia River you could see from the sand dunes. As a result, the land we're seeing and you can visit today also happens to be the site of the largest environmental cleanup in US history. Our adventure of the Hanford Reach National Monument will continue as we take a closer look by visiting the B reactor, where the first full-scale plutonium production took place and the ground zero for the creation of the world's very first nuclear bomb. What is it like today? And what are we going to see? Follow me to the next episode.